Welcome to the Caspian Horse Breeders Association. We had a rough start with our very first Taliyeh Award, so let's hope for next year to be a little bit better, and we've learned a little lesson here on how to prepare. So I would like to begin with a registry report on our business so far this year. As I already said before, we started business in February of 2020, and since that time, well, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I did want to say since this year, there have been 24 foals born, and these are preliminary numbers worldwide. So these numbers are in flux. They may increase as more foals still have an opportunity to be born throughout the world, and that there may be some that have not been reported anywhere yet that will show up later. What happens is when a foal is reported, we catalog it and we calculate it in our database. And this is to help us understand how many Caspians there are worldwide, to understand the health of the population and if it needs help. So let's begin with the 24 foals born this year so far. 13 of them were colts, and of those colts they represented 5 different sire lines, and 11 of them were fillies that represented 7 dam lines. So the fillies came out representing a bit more, but there are more dam lines than sire lines. So while 24 foals may be on the low end, we can still hope that more will be born within the last month of the year. But this number is not unheard of. The current number is still within the range of the births that we have seen year over year. The last decade had a range of 20 to 45 foals, but if you want to be more precise, I believe that was 21 to 42 foals. And the year that there were 42 foals was a anomaly compared to the rest of the years. Seemed to average around 25 to 30. So we're pretty close to average. Yes, okay, moving on. The sire lines that the colts represented. Now, I want to caution you, I am just reading this phonetically, and I am not known to be the best at pronunciation. That is not my talent. There are other people who are great linguists out there who probably understand right when they look at this, but I want to address that because English is my native language. I will anglicize this. You have your own pronunciation, and that is wonderful if you pronounce it differently than I do. So I'm just starting off with that disclaimer. So the sire lines represented are Taliyeh Noor, we had 3 colts, Palang, 2 colts, Ruba, 2 colts, Asaman, 2 colts, Sekandar Gol, 4 colts. And Sekandar Gol's line needed that boost in numbers because it had been lagging behind the others for a while. And so this is great news to see most of them this year were for that line. And now for the dam lines that we represented this year. On Ahita, we had 3 fillies born for that line. Mitra had 1. Alamara had 3. Khorshid Kola had 1. Moosh 1. Balsagar 1. I have notifications. I'm sorry. I was trying to turn those off earlier, but didn't manage to. So Moosh had 1. Balsagar 1. And Jahan Afaruz 1. Now for our business specifically. In 2022, we plowed through a lot of registrations as we were starting up, and we went through mostly imported Caspians to establish breeders' herds who were registering with us. So far, we've imported 36 Caspians from other registries. So these are horses that were already registered that they decided to double register with us. We have processed 12 new registrations. So these are registrations for horses that have not been registered anywhere else prior. They are the offspring of the imported Caspians, and of those 12, 6 of these were 2022 foals. So if you do the math, we had 24 foals this year so far, and 6 of those would be 25%. So our registry has registered 25% of the known Caspians born this year. I wouldn't mind if I heard of more foals being born and registered in other registries. So this isn't exactly a point where we're gloating. We just are acknowledging that it seems that our registry has 25% of the foals registered for this year. Maybe there'll be more born next year for others, and then that percentage will drop. The same as if of those unreported or yet to be born foals for the end of the year show up, this number may change. I wanted to announce a 2023 promotional offer on our website. You'll get the offer on our website if you are shopping for registration services. Beginning January 1st, 2023 through the end of the year, December 31st, 2023, you can get $5 off certificates, stallion licenses, and ownership transfers when you use our online store. All you have to do is enter the promo code Caspian 2023 at checkout, and it should ring up $5 off. If you have the question about whether that's $5 off each certificate or $5 off each transaction, that I do not know. So if it is intended to be $5 off each item, so if you run into any problems with the discount code not taking $5 off the certificates, licenses, and transfers, then get a hold of us and we'll try to figure out what's going on with the shopping cart. Now I want to transition into what our Caspian projects are for this year. The Caspian projects are things that the registry is going to or planning to work on to figure out processes and research that might benefit the Caspian community as a whole. Our first project that we want to look into, and we've already started, is a mitochondrial DNA project. This has been something that has sort of been marinating for quite a while, and this goes back to horse evolution and the history of domestication. So our mentor on this project is Margot Brady, Associate Professor at North Dakota State College of Science. Her master's was essentially on this subject, so I believe her master's thesis. But the intent is to research the mitochondrial DNA of the Caspian bloodlines, the foundation dam lines, to determine the possible relationship between those mares. Because as you study, or if you study, the domestication of the horse species, you'll see that over time, different haplotypes were going extinct as breeding for a purpose came into play, and at this point, the Y chromosome was depleted down to one haplotype. So it's really difficult to distinguish any variation in the Y chromosome from stallion line to stallion line. That's not to say that they aren't worth preserving. It's just to say that with the current technology, difficult to distinguish and what we can do with the existing Y chromosome. But the mitochondrial DNA, which is attached to the mares and the dam lines, there's still quite a variety of haplotypes left. And the Caspians are believed to have haplotypes, or I shouldn't say believe, but they do have haplotypes that match up with horses from the Ice Age, and that would go back to horses from before domestication. And so we don't know exactly which of the Caspians' bloodlines are which. We know them by their dam lines names, but it would be helpful to be able to determine which haplotypes you want to help preserve in your breeding program. So that is an effort really spurred by our global distribution of Caspians, that there are not an equal distribution of bloodlines all over the world. So certain countries will have fewer, certain countries will have many more, certain countries may have them all, but I do not know if that is true currently. So it would be helpful to know which haplotypes are available in which countries, and if that's associated with the dam lines, and if there are certain dam lines that share haplotypes. And this goes into preserving the breed's diversity as well as the diversity of the horse species itself. So we are hoping that this will aid in the decision-making of broodmare investment and transport and management for smaller breeders who have to budget their resources. Maybe they can't own massive amounts of mares. Maybe they want to be more selective, and this can be one of those tools in their selection process. As it stands so far, we have already obtained samples from these lines. I could go through and name them again. Like I said, with my anglicized accent on these words, I probably won't do them justice for the names of the horses, but this is how I pronounce them. And again, I am open to hearing your pronunciations, and which may be correct. I can correct myself going forward. Also, side note, I've learned never to make fun of someone for mispronouncing a word. They learned it by reading, and reading is always something we want to encourage. So here we go. The samples that we've already obtained are from Korshikola, Shirine, Duiz, Fatima, Talushi, Sayagosh, Alamara, Jehanafaruz, Anahita, Mary, Balsigar, Mariam, Kanu. You can all make fun of how I said that in your own time. I'll make fun of myself for you. How about that? We are still seeking samples to represent these lines, and I've divided them into these two lopsided columns purposefully because the column on the left is from horses that were traced back to Iran, and part of the original exports, or foundation mares of the original exports. You have Mitra and Pari, and then on the right we are looking for, these would be known as the Turkish foundation lines. So what we believe happened was that these lines were smuggled out of Iran through Turkey, found in Turkey, and then incorporated in the Caspian breed about, well, it was more than a decade ago, I guess, but I'll have to check the dates and get back to you if you want more information on these lines. But as far as I know, most of these lines are in Sweden. So yes. Shall I pronounce them my way? Sarkesh, Madar, Dorsa, Kosh, Maleke, Mush. If you want to participate and you have access to one of these lines, we would be more than happy to accept a hair sample from you for the research. But as the research stands, we're not going to wait indefinitely to get all the samples because we feel some research is better than none. And we do have samples of most of the horses, and we believe that we have commitment on a sample for Mitra. So once we have obtained Mitra, we believe that we will go on to test, and we hope that we can get Peri, and we would love to see additions from the Turkish lines, but we don't want to delay too long, and we hope that we can always add these later if they come in later. Now, I didn't really express this in the agenda that I sent out to the membership, but Conservation Breeding Project. I had an enlightening conversation with our mentor, Dr. Dan Wharton, about how to breed for conservation. So what has happened, like I had explained with domestication of horses, is the depletion of genetics. It's been funneled into a man-made bottleneck because we have catered the horse to our needs, and it lost its wild status and it became a domesticated species. So all horses everywhere are related to the same founding sire. It's believed to be the same sire line for all of them, going back to the earliest, the dawn of domestication. So what do you do when you have to battle this basically a culture that has permeated domestication and breeding, and how do you breed to preserve genetics? You have to avoid the culture of discard, and maintain genetics that may be subpar. So Dan Wharton has suggested that there be 2 breeding pools. You have because you can breed for both. We can do this simultaneously. So we already have our gold section A horses and our silver section B horses. But the only dividing thing between them is just a stallion license and a few other things. It relied on registration requirements. But Dr. Wharton is suggesting that this is more of an assessment to determine which horses go into which category, and to maintain them both rigorously so that we can have a pool to draw from when we need diversity for the show side of the horses, for the presentation horses that we breed for quality and conformation, and that we can draw from the best of the other pool when we need fresh genetics. So if you have 2 breeding pools going on, then a cross between the 2 will help prevent genetic drift and bottlenecking down to genetic depression, which is ultimately where a lot of things lead. So here is so I have mentioned here that we can do this by modifying how we are running our sections, but I feel that this is more of an education project first, a research into the consequences of shifting to this direction, because not only, I mean, from a conservation standpoint, it is a good idea for genetics, but you run into stigma, and there's always that stigma that comes with perception and the optics of breeding animals that aren't quality. So it will have to require some careful naming and some very in-depth education to avoid labels and to avoid the negativity of possibly breeding horses that aren't fit for breeding in other people's eyes. I think this is outside of the scope. It's apparent that you do not want to include horses that have a genetic disease that can't be a genetic disease that can be located with genetic testing. But to my knowledge so far, the Caspians have been rather clean of genetic disease. So this was kind of words from Dr. Wharton that I have repurposed into words for our registry. So it's proposed that the Gold Section A horses could maintain a rigorous selection process for type and breed standards, while the Silver Section B horses could be managed for genetic diversity, even though they may not necessarily produce the so-called perfect type. But currently our sections don't have this assessment, and I feel that it would be beneficial to have assessments for horses that are in Silver Section B to pass and then be upgraded to the Gold Section A, so that the quality horses are incorporated in the Gold Section. But this way, if you are managing two separate populations like this, the Caspian would have a gene pool to draw on to refresh the other as needed to help prevent genetic depression and as Dr. Wharton worded it, otherwise, from a genetic perspective, we risk discarding horses to no productive end. Okay, this is going to be a challenge, a new challenge. Caspian trivia. I am going to present a Mentimeter, and I don't know how this is going to go, but especially on this computer where we were jostling back and forth just to get to the PowerPoint, now I have to switch over to a browser. But I think that it will be fine if we don't, Taylor, because they will need to just log on to a separate window. That's not the window I want. So, hold on a second. Play for a chance to win. So how do you play? You open up another browser window and you log on to www.menti.com and enter the code. Oh, here, let me enter the code for you. Since I'm in my non-presentation mode, I can just do that now. Let's see if I can do that now. So the code is 16855354. Let me know if you guys get in there, because I'm not seeing the chat right now. But when you do log in, let me know if you do. Because if not, we'll just do this manually. You guys can call me and let me know what your answer is. Or we'll just put it in the chat. Oh, hey, it looks like people are already playing. So someone's figured it out. We have 2 people who've logged in. 3. So this is a little unfair. I was supposed to have like a startup screen, and you know, I didn't have much time to set up this quiz. So we can just go with who's ever logged in so far. We have 6 people. Go ahead and enter your answer if you can. I wish I could see the chat, Taylor, then I can see how to, oh look, here's the chat. All right, we'll just, I think that we're going to run into some problems here, but it looks like we'll just go ahead. Hey, thank you for your help. I have to move the quiz along, though. What? No, come back here. You come back. Come back. I don't know what you're doing.
You can't move the quiz along with that window.
I just need to hit next. All right. I hope that the next question has come up. I have no idea how I'm going to know who won this because I don't think that I have a reader board at the end. I know. No one prepared for a quiz. It's really just 2 questions, and you know, I might have to go back on giving a prize if no one can win because I didn't put a leaderboard on it to know who's logged in. But maybe you guys get something. I know what I could do. I could just draw a winner at random. How's that? Because I literally put this quiz together in like 5 minutes and didn't figure everything out. I appreciate that everyone is suffering along with me because nothing hurts more than when technology does not work. Everyone wins. Yes, you'll have to wait for me to go to the next question. But like I said, there's just 2 questions and that's it. Because I did not have time to come up with more. Okay, Taylor, I think that I just need to end the quiz now. And anyone who participated in the quiz, send me a screenshot of whatever you get at the end. I have reached the end of this presentation and I do not know who won. So I don't know what you guys got, but if anyone got a winner, then you can email that to me. Or you can all email me and I'll just draw a random winner. All right, we can switch back to our PowerPoint. Okay, that was a complete failure, but fun anyway. Thanks for playing. And Taylor's cursing under his breath because he does not like being my technology helper, and I should probably learn how to do this myself so that I don't be that person that he has to help all the time. Now, here's our Taliyeh Award. We're at our nominees, so hopefully this works. I just wonder if I can just, I just do, it's probably like going all over the place for you. I apologize, but this was a beautiful spinning coin graphic, and I'm really upset that I wasn't able to present it to you. But nevertheless, here we are, our Taliyeh Award nominees. But before we begin, I wanted to share a little bit about our judge. So our 2022 Taliyeh Award judge is Christy Robinson. Let's take a moment to learn a little bit about her. And I'm begging that this works, so hopefully it works.
Hi, my name is Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start again.
Hi, my name is Christy Robinson, and I'm extremely honored to be a judge in the first ever Taliyeh Award. Horses have been my life's largest passion, and I grew up riding. I was fortunate to have a wonderful teacher and mentor who taught everything from halter and stall, tack up, round pen lessons, trail challenges, jumping, showing feet, groom, lunging, pick out feet, mucking as well, tack care, etc. So my horsemanship in general has been quite extensive, and I have been very fortunate to have that experience. Throughout the years, I have studied horse behavior intensely, been involved in many a horse discussion in just about every area one can think of, from back aisles of shows to personal visitations, and established what I would consider a sound basis of conformation knowledge according to breed standard, as well as for riding and sport. But Arabians were my first passion. I have been studying pedigrees as well as in-depth research for over 30 years on conformation and the strains and the different substrains of Arabians, and they are indeed numerous. I, at one time, wanted to start my own preservation farm to continue the desert type Arabian, and I'm hoping perhaps that may still be an option even though time goes on. And over the years, I have learned that phenotype and genotype do indeed go hand in hand. And I've been fortunate to not only see and ride many a great horse, but to assess and critique conformation and bloodlines, always with an eye for breeding. I credit much of my research and in-depth knowledge of the Arabian to so many great friends and breeders. And I have almost every book, Judy Forbes, the wonderful breeder, and her husband, Don Forbes, who started the Unsought Arabian Stud in Mena, Arkansas, and I've had several visits there. And I've also been influenced by the Babson breds and the wonderful Marshalls and their Glenlock farm, the Cravers who continued with the Babson breeding, the Imperial Egyptian Stud. I owe gratitude learning to Sheila Varian, and I've read so many different interpretations of Homer Davenport's importation of the original desert bloods. I think it was about 36 that he brought back that had non-Royal Agricultural Society, or as we know now, the Egyptian Agricultural Organization bloodlines. Also, of course, you cannot, if you know anything about Arabians, you cannot help but mention Lady Ann Whitworth in Cravat Park, as she has had an amazing impact on the breed throughout generations. Carl Roswan, Dr. Hans Zechel, and his wonderful Catherine Stud, Kellogg and CMK Arabians, and again, the different types of publications on Azel, Blue Liz, Alcosma. Also have been very enamored with the Polish state studs, the Metnikolo, Janelle Podlaski, Vialka in particular, the Desert Stud of Russia, and the wonderful monogram lines that have come from there. Spanish bred Arabians, Middle Eastern studs, whether private or state. And I have visited many breeding farms, whether they were friends with backyard breeder horses, as well as world renowned. And I'm very thankful and privileged to have had the ability and the insight and the knowledge from these people that I have learned from to truly be able to assess and look at horses with an eye for breeding. The Caspian horse has captured my interest and heart. Their keen alertness and intelligence, fleet of foot off of powerful hindquarters, and their overall essence of a desert hot-blood breed is undeniable. The Persian Caspian horse conformation lends the conclusion that these horses were built to catapult and pull chariots, probably dating back further than the reign of King Darius I. What I find particularly interesting is the juxtaposition between the Arabian mainframe strains, such as Koailin, Sakali, Dolman, Aben, Hamdan, Maniki, and all of these have so many substrains, especially the Manikis. Would like to add some of my perspectives that I have seen with the similarities between Arabians and Caspians. Now, many credit the Turkoman as being part of the Caspian bloodline, as well as possibly the Bar, but I don't see that as much as I do the Turkomans and some of the other Oriental horse lines. The Caspian similarities that I see, particularly with Arabians, somewhat in the Hamdani strains. They tend to have the longer head with straighter profile, longer back, larger bone and density, and lower overall carriage compared to other Arabian strains. But most importantly, I think, if you were to compare the two, we'll be looking at the Maniki strain. It has numerous substrains, and these horses generally have a longer length and straighter profile of head. The barrel behind the rib cage is typically slimmer, and we see that, of course, in the Caspian with its slender build. Long legs, having the phenotype akin to the thoroughbred, in which the Turkoman blood and the Taliyeh Arabian are credited as part founders. And then we look at the Austro-Hungarian bred Shakawa Arabian, and these exhibit some similarities in conformation as well, but not as much as I see with the Maniki lines. If you look at the Azel Arabian publications, and I have 2 volumes, 4 and 5, and after poring over those, I became interested in noting that there are similar, comparable resemblances to Castrians in general. And we have to remember, of course, that these breeds are indeed inherently different. And I became, again, enamored with the Caspian because of the similarities that I saw. And I have been drawn to hot blood horses in general. And so I'm hoping that as we move forward, that this wonderful breed will continue, that we can figure out the logistics and the abilities to be able to outcross and bring new bloodlines into the Western Hemisphere's bottleneck, as well as maintaining the original founding horses, especially the sire and dame lines that are the most rare. And the ancient Bedouins always had a great deal of respect, even more so on the mare and the dame lines than the sire lines. And I don't know if that's quite the same for Caspians, but nevertheless, both sides, whether paternal or maternal, we need to endeavor to continue to preserve this wonderful breed. Again, I thank you for allowing me to have the wonderful privilege of judging this year's most prestigious Taliyeh Award. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Christy. We definitely appreciate all that you have done to help us with your perspective and judging our award. And to answer you on the question about the sire lines versus the dam lines, we do know that there seemed to be an emphasis on sire lines early on when the breed was begun. There are articles about this that seem to have that focus on preserving sire lines more than the dam lines. But I think that it is valuable to understand that those dam lines are more genetically rich than the sire lines, and therefore probably extremely, well, not probably, but they are extremely important to maintain. Okay, I think that my computer has kind of froze here, so hopefully I can move to the next slide. It looks like I have an issue with it being stuck on this slide. So that's PowerPoint for you. This will be fun. It's stuck on the slide, so the program has frozen.
Which one? PowerPoint?
PowerPoint.
Where's PowerPoint at?
Well, that sneeze was not me. That was my mini-me, my daughter sitting over there. She has pretty powerful sneezes. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is just suspense for when I get to show you all of the nominees for the award. We'll go through them, I'll tell you their stories, and then we get to the big announcement where we share who the winner is. I think that, you know, I could help you here.
Okay, well, open PowerPoint. It should show up here on this window as an option, and then you're good to go.
Well, why wasn't it doing that before? Sorry. It got jostled. Don't don't freak out. The view seems to be bigger this time than it was, so I'll have to shrink it down where you can.
It's the most important.
That's fine. Maybe off center, but that'll work. Here is the coin. I think that PowerPoint was having an issue, and it was starting to shut down. So this was what I wanted to share. Like, oh, I spent so much time to get this to look this way for you to present the award. So here we are. We're presenting the nominees. Now that we're trying to wrap this up without taking too much longer. Skip that. Nominees. Cascadia Amira. This 2020 filly is as beautiful as she is shy. We were very pleased with her conformation and her bloodlines, which crossed Australian with rarer UK lines. Her tipped-in ears are quintessentially Caspian. We hope for another foal from her mother to get a repeat breeding, but so far she's been the last. We look forward to working with her more so her personality can shine. Here's more pictures of Cascadia Amira just out in the pasture. Cascadia Bucephalus. Cascadia Bucephalus was excitedly welcomed into the world, a lovely 2022 colt with a willing but cautious temperament. While the cross wasn't a first choice, we are still happy since we were hoping to produce foals from his sire, MCC Tahir's Takahiro. His sire is a strong stallion with a good build and kind face, and the only offspring sired by MCC's Tahir. Bucephalus's dam, Marquise Perseus, is a beautiful mare with a very with very elegant features. He is her third foal and also the second black colt that she has produced. You wanted me to pause. Oh, I see. It's all cut off. Well. I feel like that was a disservice to Amira. So there's Amira. There's more of Amira. There's Cascadia bucephalus. And here's Cascadia bucephalus again. And now we're on to Sassafras Marie. Marie was foaled in 2022 during a hot Kentucky summer. My vet recommended the use of a medicated fly spray daily on her. Marie and I became close friends quickly. She is a gentle, loving filly that is eager to learn. Marie accepted my handling from the start. I'm looking forward to teaching her new things. I believe she will mature into a beautiful broodmare and will be able to pass on this wonderful temperament to all of her foals in the future. Yeah, I embellished a little there. We are off. Oh great, I have all these notifications popping up. And then I have no idea what they are for. Sassafras Sarah. I purchased Sarah for my breeding program because of the genetic diversity that she would bring. She is one of the few mares in the USA with the Balsigar dam line. Additionally, color variation should matter too, and Sarah's sire passed on the recessive agouti gene to her. She's a spirited horse, but people friendly, and with minimal work has decided that people are an interesting animal to interact with. We appreciate her breeder who entrusted Sarah with us, and we are proud to have quite the diverse program now. Here are more photos of Sassafras Sarah. JPH Shikana Maribon. Maribon came from a South Texas farm that had acquired Caspians from a major importer decades ago. I fell in love with this pretty 2021 filly when she was offered for sale. She's still timid, but recently started warming up to us. She lets her curiosity get the better of her and enjoys coming up to people on her own terms. I feel we're making good progress with this sensitive soul. She's a nice mare from a herd that has some scarce bloodlines you can't really find anywhere else. Here are more photos of Shikana Maribon. Or I should say JPH Shikana Maribon. Terra Star Charlie's Angel. Angel is a 2022 filly that was born to a Caspian mare we purchased from a boarding facility. We are so happy she is with us now. Angel is very playful and she runs like the wind. She also loves to be brushed, and carrots and peppermint bites will make you her best friend. Here are some photos of Charlie's Angel. All right, those are our nominees. They all entered video and photos. We have only seen just the photos for this presentation, but now is the time to announce the winner. So this is where I will need to transition to me. I don't know why you're sitting way over there.
Where's the hands?
It's right here. I need you to transition to the screen. I'm going to open an envelope with the winner's name inside. And then after I announce this winner, we'll transition back to watch the video of the winner. Apparently we're having some more technology issues.
I don't know why it's not wanting to display it now.
Should I just... You know, when this was first shown to me about how slick it does doing these transitions, I think that it's made for a multi-computer situation, not a single computer doing it all. So that might be part of our reason for having these transition issues. We have one computer working overtime on all this.
We're just going to have to use this other camera then.
That's fine. The other camera works. At least we have. People can still hear me. We had to switch to camera 2, which is okay. All right, so I'm going to announce the Taliyeh Award winner. I have the award here. It is a medallion that is embedded into a plaque, and we will have the name of the winner engraved on the plaque after the announcement. So that's why it looks rather plain now, but it's really the medallion that is the award. And let's find out who our winner is. Why is this so hard to open? And the winner is Sassafras Marie, owned and bred by Ann Lawrence with Sassafras Caspians. Yay! Well, you can clap too. I was just going to put you on pause because now I need to reach out to Anne to find out if she has anything to say. But I think that she just has Messenger here. So I'm getting Anne on Messenger, and I'm going to find out if she has anything to say or anything more. Congratulations, Anne, by the way. You won the very first Taliyeh Award. Okay, Anne has provided some comments for us to share. And she's also requested that my husband impersonate her.
Oh no, that's not going to work. Let me read this for you. Fairly short and simple. Thank you everyone for a special thank you everyone, and a special thanks goes to Marie's mom, Obsidian. Without her gentle, trusting nature, none of this would have been possible. She trusted me to work alone with her baby and never complained.
Oh, that's sweet. Did you have anything to add, Anne? Here's your award, Anne.
I'm Anne.
Here, I'm going to take that envelope back.
Here we go.
Congratulations.
It's solid bronze, so...
Yes, our award is solid bronze. We spent well over a year trying to get this award created. So thank you everyone for your support and helping us get to this point. Now, hey, we're transitioning back. We're going to watch Anne's video that she has for Sassafras Marie. Here we go with the transition. I should just do a little dance.
Let's see. Okay,
All right.
that should do it.
We're getting there. Are we there? I just see my screen.
Yes, well, go to the next one. It should be exactly what you're looking for. Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. So now that we know who our winner is, let's see what the video is. And hopefully this will play for us. And congratulations, Anne, and sassafras. You You have produced some beautiful Caspians over the years, and you are well deserving of this award. To all those who participated and did not win, your foals that may still be eligible for next year, provided that they are not 3 years old yet, you can compete again. So sometimes a winner is just determined by how a horse handles. So maybe if you're able to work with your horse more, you might be a winner next year. So we really appreciate everyone for showing up for the Taliyeh Award. This is the very first time that we've done something this big, and all of you viewers who are watching right now, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we're excited to get this award sent to Anne and add all of this to our history. Oh, so I guess I have some questions now. I guess we can transition from the PowerPoint. Since PowerPoint's done, but I will hang out for a little bit more to talk to everyone. So if you have additional questions, I'm happy to answer what I can answer. Oh, yeah, you can transition while I'm looking down. We'll get the hang of this. Maybe we'll get a production studio, and all of this will be like so smooth going forward for 2023. One can hope. But I was flagged saying that there may be questions in the chat, so I'm scrolling and I'm looking for some. Let's see. So Marie was born this year. She was one of the later foals born in the year, probably in the summertime. I don't know the exact date. The information about Marie and when she was born and who her parents are is available in our stud book / database, where we track all the Caspians and track who the Caspians are registered from, so long as we know. Now, so that's the disclaimer. The information can be updated as more accurate information or more accurate information comes along. So that, but we have this database so that we can track foals born, and that's where Marie is. She's there too. Let's see, what else is there? You can, in chat, you can ask questions again. How is the horses expecting? So I'm not sure exactly. So I'm wearing two hats, as you know. I am the registrar for the Caspian Horse Breeders Association. I also breed Caspian horses under another business, but right now I'm answering questions related to the Caspian Horse Breeders Association. So in general, I'm going to answer this question like, how do you, like, the horses expecting? Because we try to track horses worldwide. Australia, the southern hemisphere, it's summertime right now, so they may have some December foals that will be born soon, and we just don't know until those are reported. And then sometimes Caspians surprise us and have a full off season when they're not really supposed to, and that can happen more often than you expect. So we don't know what horses are expecting, but we know that they are out there. So the criteria to enter the Taliyeh Award is that the horse must be not 3 years old yet, so under the age of 3, not reached its 3rd birthday by the date of the award. So in this case, a foal could not have reached, well, a horse could not have reached 3 years old prior to this date today. Speaking of birthdays and dates today, did you know that it's a Caspian's birthday today that was born a year ago? Happy birthday, Z. That's his nickname, what his owner calls him. So you know who you are. So that's one of the eligibility standards, is that the age has to be before breeding age. Although we know that sometimes people will breed at 2, the standard seems to be around 3, where a horse is generally starting its breeding career, its breeding path. I don't know. The word's escaping me right now. So under 3 years old, and then must be registered with the Caspian Horse Breeders Association, which is really easy. So the parents can be imported into the registry by providing registration certificate and proof of their parentage. So the DNA certificate from wherever the DNA was done, and then if you don't have that, hair sample instead, so that hair sample from each parent can be tested, and then the foal that's being registered can be registered with Caspian Horse Breeders Association. So I'm getting in the weeds here, but I put the eligibility standards on our website, caspian.horse, and I think that, as I recall, that the parents don't necessarily have to be, or maybe one parent has to be, but that rule has kind of been shifting. But the foal definitely has to be registered to be eligible. We want participation in the registry in order to qualify for this award. So you have a registered foal or horse under the age of 3 with Caspian Horse Breeders Association, and then there's submission standards where you have to submit confirmation photos and then video of the horse performing specific tasks. When I say task, it's more like video of the horse trotting, video of the horse being led, picking up the feet, and we're still sort of feeling our way through this, and our qualification standards may change. It depends on a variable of factors that, the engagement in it, the interest in it, people's time, what they can do, and what we expect them. And we want to align it to make it easier for people. So we know that sometimes taking video can be very hard, and we tried to keep it simple to boost engagement. But we're also starting out, so it may not be well known. However, we are planning to do this going forward in the future, and have our Taliyeh Award lined up for 2023 already. So nominations can be submitted, or I should say we have a nomination form that this all can be submitted online digitally, but the nomination form is only open for a month before the deadline to submit. So you have about a month to submit your nominations. You can message the Caspian Horse Breeders Association about submitting a foal and get more information on that. I do know that the foals that were submitted, or the horses that were submitted for this year, not all of them had complete submissions, and that might have played in where they fell in the rankings. But I do, with all confidence, believe that Sassafras Marie was a far and clear winner this year, and we look forward to seeing foals be submitted for next year, and horses as well that have not reached the age of 3 yet. And it gives people a lot of time to decide whether they want to submit a horse while it's very young, or give them time to reach those handling standards with a horse that's a little more mature. And it's flexible like that, so that people have the opportunity to feel what will work best for their horses. Let me check for anymore. And I'm probably like not even I'm so used to looking at that camera. I'm like, you're looking at my nose. I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be looking at this camera now. Maybe I should take the other one down. It's like distracting me. It seems as though we have reached the end of questions. I don't see any new questions popping in. Other than, do they find forever homes for the baby horses you were talking about? I'm not sure which baby horses I was talking about, not finding forever homes or finding forever homes. But, oh, the answers to the quiz. Yes, the answers to the quiz. It was... Okay, let me review my own quiz questions first. Let's scroll back here. I don't even have it, so... The answers to the quiz was, what? Jahan and Cream. Was it Jahan? Now here I'm trying to remember the name of the horse, because I don't have all the horses' names memorized. Like, it's not a religion. I probably should memorize them because that's maybe what people expect of me. But I'm trying to rely on the photographic memory of the word, and that can be deceiving. Sometimes my photographic memory remembers purple and it's actually green. So, you know, email me if you participated in the quiz. I will select, you know, someone to randomly be our, you know, door prize winner, we'll call it. So, I really appreciate everyone coming out. I could talk forever. I enjoy talking about Caspians. Horses are my passion. You'll definitely see more of me. I am hoping to involve more people going forward, so it's not just me all the time, but we will see. It's sometimes it's an uphill climb, but if you guys are supporting me, I trust that eventually we will get there, and we will help preserve this breed. Thank you so much. Now I got to figure out how to end this because my helper doesn't sit next to me, and I'm just waiting for him to come over here and turn it off, or at least show me where to turn it off. Turn it off. We're done. Have a good evening.